Okay, Haystack Calhoun, 2 out of 3, by Dennis Stamp from the Stamp Collection. Haystack Calhoun. First of all, he was the biggest person I ever met in my life. He was about 6'3" and weighed 640 pounds. He had to weigh himself at butcher shops that had the big scales. He was as nice as he was big. He was always fun to be around. He could talk. He was a great interview. His character was this huge country boy. He wore bib overalls and called everyone neighbor. He was from Tucumcari, New Mexico. When he was 17, he weighed 450 pounds. 2 different doctors told him he wouldn't live past the age of 20. What do those doctors say now? I asked. Oh, they both died over 20 years ago, he replied, trying not to laugh. But you're still here, I said. That broke him up with laughter. When Stacks laughed, everyone laughed. That's how it was traveling with Haystacks. He was so much fun. We laughed all the time. He drove a large Suburban. He had the front seat moved back so he could fit behind the wheel. You didn't want to be in the back seat. There was no leg room. You know why I bought this big van, don't you? He asked. Sure, I said. You need something big. No, not that, neighbor. Lift up that lid in the back, he said. Wow, I said. He had a complete bar in the back. Yeah, neighbor, I've got vodka, gin, bourbon, and Southern Comfort. What's your pleasure? Thanks, Stacks, but I don't drink, I said. You don't drink? He blurted out, what's wrong with you? I said, oh, I know, he sat back and smiled. You young guys all smoke that wacky tobacco. Don't worry, neighbor, I'll get some of that too. That was in Georgia. We met a few years later in Amarillo. Promoters would bring in Haystack for a week or two and book battle royals all over the territory. A battle royal is a match with all the wrestlers in the ring at the same time. Usually there are 10 to 14 wrestlers, but there could be as many as 20. The match was an up-the-pole battle royal. The night we wrestled in Lubbock, Texas. There was a pole about 15 feet high attached to one of the ring posts. At the top of the pole was a money bag. The object of the match was to climb the pole and get the money. I'd never heard of one before. Anyway, I'm the make-it-happen guy. No one was going near the pole, with one exception. Haystack was camped out in that corner. I got to the pole and climbed about halfway to the top. I was about 12 feet off the cement floor when one of Haystack's big paws grabbed the back of my tights and pulled down. I was holding onto the pole with my right hand and the front of my trunks with my left hand, while I mooned the entire city of Lubbock. So finally, I dropped to the floor and rolled under the ring and pulled my trunks up. Boy, was I mad. Stacks roared with laughter. I was so mad, I swore I'd get even. Well, here goes. I'm telling a Haystack story. I'd heard it a few times from different people, and I thought it was really funny. Finally, I met Chief Bigheart. He was actually with Haystacks when this happened. He told me the whole story. Haystack was a big star on the East Coast in the late 50s and early 60s. Haystack and the Chief were flying from New York to Washington. Before they got on the plane, one of the other wrestlers shoe-flied Haystack's drink. Shoe-fly is a strong laxative for cattle. On the plane, they had to take a seat out, an armrest out, so Stacks could have 2 seats. The plane no more than gets off the ground, and Stacks has to go. The bathroom on airplanes are small for normal-sized people. Haystack could not fit through the door. The Chief said he was mashing on that big belly when those marbles hit the floor. What a smell! It was painful. One stewardess came to the back of the plane, and when she saw what had happened and got a whiff, she threw up. Another stewardess fainted. They finally found a mail bag, and the chief held it for him while a stewardess held up a sheet to cover the back of the plane. Tears were streaming down her face. "It smelled so bad," the chief said. "The oxygen mask dropped down." "Maybe the captain dropped them," I said. "No, he was in the front seat with the door closed. The smell brought down the mask," the chief insisted. "I was there," he said. "I'll never forget that smell. I'll never forget that story." The last time I saw my friend was in Odessa, Texas. Haystack was no longer a big attraction. Now he was just big. He was getting older and had some health issues. He knew his days in the ring were numbered. The match was me against Haystack in Odessa. "You're going over, neighbor," he said. "What do you want to do?" "I can't pin you, Stacks. It's too unbelievable." "What about a count-out?" I asked. "I bail out of the ring to keep from getting pounded, and you come out after me. I slide back in, and you get counted out." "That's it?" he asked. "Well, the office want me to hit you in the head with a chair," I said. "That makes a lot more sense to me," Haystack said. "You'll get more heat, and I'll have a reason to get counted out." "Okay," I said, "if it's all right with you." "Fine," he said. "I've been looking forward to this match." "To what?" I popped off. "To show you I can wrestle with you college boys." "College boys?" I asked in a tone. "Guys like you and Briscoe. You think you're so good, you can't even get behind me." "Oh, yes, I could, Stacks," I said. "It would just take me a day and a half to get there." "Laugh now," he said. "We'll see who laughs later." The match went well. I had a lot of heat in Odessa. The fans were into the match. With about 8-9 minutes gone, we faced off in the middle of the ring. "I thought you could get behind me," he said. Before he got the words out of his mouth, I was behind him. I couldn't lock my hands. I couldn't even get my arms around him. While I was trying to hold on to him, he drives me straight back into the corner turnbuckle. I didn't see it coming. It hurt like hell. I dropped to my knees, then to the floor. He came out after me. I found a metal folding chair and hit him in the head, got back in the ring, and Stacks got counted out. Now my ribs were really hurting. I could feel the pain with every breath. I went to Haystack's dressing room, more than a little mad. "You broke my ribs," I said. It even hurt to talk. "Your ribs aren't broken, neighbor. They may be a little bruised, but you'll get over it." With that big grin on his face, I was finding it hard to be mad, but my ribs were killing me. Stack started laughing. He looked over at me and laughed some more. "That's one thing you little guys will never learn," he said. "And just what's that?" I asked sarcastically. "You believe me now? Size does matter." He again roared with laughter. I had to leave the room. It hurt too much to laugh. As I limped back to my dressing room, it all came back to me. The fat man had gotten me again.